Have you ever wondered why is the sky blue? Where do dreams come from? Or what pushed prehistoric people to leave their caves? Well, I have. And not just once. It all started a few months ago. I was traveling home from university, completely drained after a long day of lectures. I got on a train, sat down, and did what most of us do when we're tired. I started mindlessly scrolling through Instagram, simply letting the hours drift away. All I needed at that time was peace and silence, nothingness. However, next to me sat this little boy with his mom, and he wouldn't stop asking questions. Why are the trees moving? Where do trains sleep at night? Are the clouds made out of cotton candy? Well, at first I admit, I was annoyed. I really wanted to be in a quiet, peaceful place. But then, as he kept asking and asking and asking, something shifted in my approach. I realized he was fully present in the moment, curious about every little detail, exploring the world through his questions, just as I used to do as a kid. And me at that time, well, I couldn't even remember what I had just scrolled past on my phone. I was escaping the world, not engaging with it whatsoever. That situation made me realize how easily we let technology dull the sense of our wonder and present moment. While children ask hundreds of questions every day, not because they expect perfect answers, but because the world is still a mystery to them and they want to fully experience it. This encounter made me also reflect on us as human beings. From the early age, humans are equipped with curiosity. That's how we learn, how we grow, how we create, and how we discover. Curiosity stands behind our greatest inventions and innovations. And it all started with our ancestors, mentioned prehistoric humans, whose curiosity sparked the first flames. Then travelers. They crossed the oceans, not because they knew what's exactly on the other side, but because they wondered. Same applies to scientists, artists, inventors, all driven by the same desire to understand, uncover, and of course, their curiosity. So, if we were to give humanity a new name, perhaps it wouldn't be Homo sapiens, the wise human, but rather Homo inquisitivus, the curious human, because it's not a skill we learn. It's a trait we're born with, and I truly believe that curiosity is the mainstay of human development. But what exactly is curiosity? According to Cambridge Dictionary, it's an eager wish to know or learn about something. But for me personally, it's about being open-minded. It's the willingness to ask questions, not just for answers, but for insights. It's about being present and engaged. And it's the approach of, well, I don't know, but I want to find out. Now I know some of you might be thinking, okay, Karolina, you're telling us that this whole curiosity thing is so important. But isn't there a saying, curiosity killed the cat? And yes, you're right. Curiosity, if misused, may lead us into trouble. That's why it always has to be paired with respect. Respect for others, respect for context, and respect for boundaries. Because combined with that approach, it doesn't mean being nosy or intrusive. It simply builds. That's why, to prove it, I would like to share with you a lesser known continuation of that saying, the one that I personally prefer. Curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought it back. And in fact, I believe that curiosity is what brought me here today. Just 1 year ago, I was sitting in the audience wondering, what is it like to be on stage? How do people apply to this event? Are they chosen? What would I say if I had the chance? These simple questions led me to explore, reflect, act, and eventually stand here right now to share with you the outcomes of my curiosity. Okay, I hope you already see that curiosity is important. But how can we use it at its fullest? The answer is simpler than we think. Ask questions. Remember being that little child? You would tug on someone's sleeve and ask one question after another about everything. Back then, the world felt like a huge mystery waiting for you to step up and solve it. And then, something shifted. Somewhere along the way, our questions began to fade. We stopped raising our hands. So, what happened? Where does this curiosity go? Why do we stop asking questions? Well, there isn't one simple answer, but there are some patterns. As we grow older, we basically know and understand more. But we also fall into routines. We take the same route home, university, we buy the same groceries. We repeat one task after another, often without even noticing. In this way, curiosity may be blocked. We also begin to form opinions, and as the time goes by, we stop questioning them because that's how it's been, that's how it's always done. We stop asking why and exchange it for whatever. And then there's technology with its own part in the story. Did you know that last month, each of you conquered Mount Everest? Let's do just a little bit of math here. According to Statista, we scroll on average 108 minutes a day. Each scroll every 5 seconds is about 30 centimeters. That means in a single day, your thumb covers 389 meters. Now, I know that might not sound like much, but trust me, extended over time, it becomes something remarkable. During 1 week, this daily scrolling time and distance adds up to 2.7 kilometers. And if you stay on that pace a little longer, let's say almost 23 days, you will have covered almost 9,000 meters. And that's the height of Mount Everest. Meaning, in roughly 23 days, you have become a thumb Himalayas. Congratulations! But what did we actually see from the peak of that mountain? I say this with honesty. I'm guilty of it too. We scroll mindlessly. We consume content without questioning. We often ask AI for answers, but we rarely pause to reflect on them. We copy paste what we received without even checking. In this way, curiosity, instead of being fueled by technology, is being blocked. So, what can we do to reawaken our curiosity? I'm going to provide you with a little recipe. So, let's cook curiosity together. Our first ingredient is to be brave. Don't be afraid to put your phone away. Silence the noise and step away from the technological distractions, because curiosity needs the time to breathe and simmer. Our second ingredient, my personal favorite, is to be present. Look around. Observe with wonder. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you smell? Curiosity starts with noticing. Not only looking, but noticing. Not only listening, but hearing. I remember a fleeting moment that left me completely altered. I was leaving Valencia after 6 unforgettable months on my Erasmus exchange. I eventually had to pack all my stuff, empty my room, my bags were overweight, and my heart was heavy. My friends walked me to the metro station. We hugged, we cried, and we said goodbye. And there I was, sobbing, trying to get through that crowded station. I eventually entered metro, almost tripping under the weight of my luggage. I sat down and started to cry even more out of all the emotions. And then A girl I didn't know. She walked up to me, smiled, gently touched my arm, and said, "It will be all right." She didn't know me, but she noticed. She was fully present in the moment and brave enough to act. That moment meant the world to me, and it brought me back that spark of happiness. And now it brings us to our third ingredient, which is to act. Treat curiosity like your compass, the one you need to use. And when question appears, don't let it vanish. Follow it, search, experiment, ask. And eventually, our cherry on top in that old recipe, share it. Start that conversation. Approach other people. Ask. Because curiosity grows when it's exchanged. So, if we actually decide to treat curiosity as our compass, where might it lead us? Guided by empathy and intention, it opens the doors we didn't even realize exist. It boosts our well being, gives us the sense of purpose. It also, most importantly, connects us to each other, as it may lead to new conversation, meaningful exchange of ideas, friendships, relationships, or even a breakthrough or a life-changing discovery. Who knows? Maybe it even leads you to a Nobel Prize. Or maybe it simply brings you back to enjoying life and seeing beauty in everyday moments. The outcomes of curiosity are not fixed. They're not defined, but that's the magic of it. Curiosity is like a gateway, but where it leads depends on how you act on it. So now I have a challenge. I dare you. Be present. Act like that little kid who never stops asking why. Carry that curiosity with you into the streets, into the conversations, into the world waiting just outside these walls. Because here's the truth. Curiosity is like a muscle. And if you don't use it, you simply lose it. And we cannot afford to lose it, because without curiosity, we go nowhere. Well, keep this in mind. A simple why can change your day. A simple what if can change your life. And let me ask you one final thing. Were you truly present within the last couple of minutes? And did something reawaken your curiosity? Thank you.